Okay, so you've probably heard of the American Elder Care Association, right? The AECA. On the surface, they look like your pretty standard nonprofit, helping out seniors. But here's the thing. We got to look at their internal strategy docs, and what we found is a plan so big, so ambitious, it could literally change the entire elder care industry as we know it.
So how does this organization really work? We're going to peel back the layers one by one. We'll start with their frontline support, move to how they influence policy, and get right down to their master plan. Let's dig in.
Just think about it for a second. When an elderly family member needs care, the whole system feels like a total maze, right? The information is scattered everywhere. Services are all over the place. It's just incredibly overwhelming. The AECA's mission is basically to be the map for that maze, to bring some real order to this massive, chaotic industry.
So, I'll ask you, what do you think this organization really is? Is it a charity? A support group? Some kind of advocacy body? Well, whatever your first guess is, you're probably right. But you're also probably missing the bigger picture.
Yeah, it's way more complex. And honestly, the best way to wrap your head around the AECAs is to picture an onion. Seriously, to really get what they're building, we've got to peel this thing back, one layer at a time.
So let's start with that first, most visible layer, the direct help they give to seniors and their families on the ground. This is their core, the part most people actually see and interact with. And the scale here is just staggering. Their network supports over 250,000 seniors and families. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's like the entire population of a city like Buffalo, New York. It's huge. And it's not just about how many people they reach, it's how deep they go. Their support hotline, it's on track to handle over 12,000 calls in 2025. That's a family in crisis getting help every 45 minutes, 24/7. Incredible. So what are people calling about? Real, practical, tough stuff. They're guiding people through the absolute jungle of Medicare, Medicaid, and VA benefits. They're coordinating in-home care, and they even consult on retiring abroad. This isn't just generic advice. It's hands-on, roll-up-your-sleeves kind of help.
Okay, now for the next layer. See, the AECA isn't just looking out for the people getting care. They're also focused on leveling up the skills of the people providing it. They're basically trying to raise the bar for the entire industry from the inside out.
And this number really shows you their commitment. In 2025 alone, they're set to train over 5,000 caregivers and facility managers. That's not just a training program, that's like building a whole army of highly skilled professionals to send out across the country.
And they're teaching absolutely critical, real-world skills. We're talking everything from basic first aid to specialized dementia care certification, and even how to use high-tech remote monitoring gear. Because at the end of the day, when the pros are better trained, the quality of care for our elders just skyrockets.
All right, this next layer, this is where things get really interesting. This is where we see the true scale of their ambition. The AECKA wants to be more than just a service provider or a training center. They want to become the digital architect, the operating system for the entire elder care industry.
Their big idea is something they call a digital ecosystem. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, the best way to think about it is like Windows for your PC or iOS for your iPhone, but built from the ground up for elder care. It's a single, central platform designed to connect everyone and everything: facilities, caregivers, product suppliers, and of course, family.
And what's the fuel for this operating system? Data. Massive amounts of it. They're building on 3 huge pillars: a directory with over 30,000 care facilities, a list of more than 15,000 service providers, and a gigantic catalog of products for the elderly. They're essentially creating the most comprehensive digital map of the industry that has ever existed.
So how in the world do they pull this off? It's a pretty brilliant 4-step model. First, they collect a ton of industry data. Then, and this is the clever part, they offer free access to businesses in exchange for helping them verify that all the data is accurate. Once they have this super clean, reliable database, they can launch premium services. And finally, they use the money from their training and consulting to fund the whole operation. It's a perfect, self-sustaining loop.
Now, when you control the industry's data and you're the one connecting all the key players, you gain something else: a whole lot of power. And that brings us to the final layer of the onion, the AEC's ability to actually shape national policy.
A huge part of this power comes from their official 501c3 status. In the US, that means they're a federally recognized, tax-exempt nonprofit. And that's not just about saving money on taxes. It gives them immense public credibility.
It lets them speak from this position of neutrality and public trust when it comes to big policy debates.
And they absolutely use that influence for real, tangible change. They're in Washington lobbying for better reimbursement for in-home care. They're fighting to get rid of tariffs on imported care products, which directly lowers costs for families. They're even working side by side with the federal government to help set the national standards for quality of care.
So, when you put all these layers together, the direct help, the professional training, that digital ecosystem, and the policy influence, you start to see it. You see this incredibly clear, incredibly audacious blueprint that the AECA has drawn up for the entire future of elder care.
And get this isn't just some vague dream. It's a plan with a very real timeline. They're on track to finish integrating their databases in 2025, launch the full platform in 2027, and from there host an international expo and even begin expanding globally by 2030. This is a clear, aggressive, and very real strategy.
This quote, and we pulled this directly from one of their internal strategy documents, it just says it all, doesn't it? We're not just another app, we are the infrastructure. We set the rules of the game. Their goal isn't to be just one more player. Their goal is to build the stadium, own the league, and write the rulebook.
Which leaves us with this one massive question. Can a single nonprofit really pull this off? Can they actually become the central operating system for a multi-hundred-billion-dollar industry? And if they do succeed, what does that mean for the future of how we care for our elders? Now, that is a story worth watching.